is their Cordoba creator of the Leicester equaliser. El Khanous, how much room does he have here? El Khanous going for goal, and he finds it as well. What a turnaround here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
4 minutes, Leicester have soaked up so much pressure. Fatawi jinking feet to get beyond his man, and the header from Jamie Vardy makes it 2.
Wood should score. Wood was Knockout. Yes! Yes! Anthony Knockout has done it.
Tielemans lining one up. What a goal! What a brilliant goal by Yuri Tielemans! And the Leicester City fans go absolutely potty.
Ball in behind Damian Vardy. It's 11. It's heaven for Jamie Vardy. Hold the back page. Hold the front page. A Leicester player has smashed the record.
Good evening, Foxes fans. Welcome to Blue Tinted Glasses, as it is the day after the night before the end of an era. The greatest of all time sadly played his last ever game for us, but what a way to go out. Was it ever any doubt? 200 goals from 500 appearances. Thank you to Imran for that amazing video. We've got some more clips we'll share later in the show. But for you, Imran, what a memorable day for several reasons. We'll come on to the incident in a moment. But firstly, just tell me, obviously, you were at the ground yesterday. Tickets were going on the black market for as much as £1,000, would you believe? So someone who is there with a great seat, what did you make of an incredible day and the end of a legend story?
Mate, it was a really memorable day yesterday. It was a party atmosphere at the ground, even though we're relegated. Let's not forget, right? This is a relegation season. But yesterday did not feel like that one bit for some reason, because we were saying goodbye to one of the greatest ever players that has ever worn a Leicester shirt. And, I think he epitomizes everything, about a Fox, right? Like he's been absolutely amazing for us. I can't say any more. There's no more you can say about Jamie Vardy. And do you know what? Every fan we spoke to yesterday, especially I spoke to, they were certain, 100% certain that he was going to get that goal. And boy, he delivered, didn't he?
Absolutely. We didn't even have to wait that long. It's funny. Do you know when he missed that first opportunity where he got put through? I was like, oh, no. Because, Ruud van Nistelrooy, we don't get the most attacking football. But, it was great to see what it meant to players. Well, just say hello to everyone here in chat. Good to see you, Dawn. Good to see you, Richard. Good to see you, WMP. Got some more people also in the back and they come through in just a moment. But Imran, so let me ask you, it would have already been, in my opinion, a fairly unforgettable day. But clearly the emotion was so much. So why don't you tell, ladies and gentlemen on the stream, by the way, Lox will be joining us a little bit later on, but just before Lox joins us, Imran, tell us what happened to you on that.
So it was a bit of a memorable day in many ways, actually. So as Jamie Vardy, he said his goodbyes, and we had the presentation at the end of the game, and then there I was walking away from the ground, walked past Filbert Street, thinking about the good old days. When I started going to watch Leicester City back then. The Ian Almondroyd, Julian Joachim, Emil Heskey memories, Claridge, Cotty, all these memories coming back. Got to the main road where the newsagents is, and I crossed the road without looking, and I got hit by a car at about 25 miles per hour, and I was knocked out. I'm not joking. I was concussed for about 10 minutes. Luckily, there was a guy that I work with, Brian. His name is Brian Morgan. He works with me at the hospital. He was there at the scene because he was at the game as well. So he was like, Imran, you okay? And I was like dazed. The poor lady, it wasn't her fault. It was my fault. I didn't look. It was just one of those days where I just had all these emotions in my head. But fortunately,
Wow.
guys, don't worry, I'm fine. So I'm made out of rubber, you see. I've got no bones in my body.
That's dedication to the cause to come on
Yeah.
here after being knocked out for 10 minutes. How
Yeah.
fast was the car going?
It weren't that far. She weren't going that fast. It was about 25 miles per hour. But from
Yeah.
what Brian was telling me, it was a bit of a thud. And luckily I fell and I rolled around a bit as well, obviously, because the car had hit me. But yeah, thankfully I was okay. So all good.
Well, do you know what? I've got some advice for the director of football. Get Imran, sign him up. He's a robust. Play him in central midfield. He'll be able to take those knocks and bruises. Not even a car will keep him down. But all right, bad jokes aside, we've got quite a few people. I'm sure a lot of people have something to say. So we're going to start all the way from the USA. I haven't spoken to a while, so let's get him on. It's my man, Craig. How are you doing? Great to see you. What did you make of the end of the fairy tale?
Well, it was good while it lasted. It was fun to have that in our back pocket for so many years and be able to depend on him and have him bring so much joy to the team. And I'll be honest, he's one of the reasons I became a Leicester fan when I first saw them playing the championship 13 years ago or whatever it was when I started following Leicester. So congratulations to him and really congratulations to us being able to have someone for that long and be able to join it. A lot of people don't get that pleasure. So.
Yeah, I was asking the same question to Anil earlier on. Like, I don't think we'll ever see a player like that. Forget in Leicester's history, but even in Premier League history, you don't get many players like Gerrard and Vardy who stay at a club for that long. And Matt Letizia is another one. If you remember him, you don't get many players like that. And hopefully there will be another player like that. But you just never know. I've got a question for you. What's your favorite Vardy moment then from the US?
I think the Liverpool goal, obviously the volley there was great, but I love the shit housing that he does, and my favorite is probably the the one, and then that right there, or there was a time some of the away fans were giving him crap about his wife, I think is what it was. He scored the goal, ran to the other end, jumped in front of him, and kind of did that across his back, and just it was like, why would you antagonize this guy? I mean, you do something like that, that means he's gonna come back on you. And those are my favorite moments, is his interaction with the crowd and things of that nature, because it was just something that kind of makes you feel part of that team.
Absolutely. Can I ask you, Imran, at the ground, what was the reception like from the Ipswich fans? Because I have to say, I was a bit disappointed by them.
Yeah.
I think if I was even from the opposition fan, like, I'll admit, not often, but sometimes I've applauded. Like, I actually remember my first ever game. I saw Arsenal play at Filbert Street, and Dennis Bergkamp, that goal that he scored, I don't know if you were at that game. Yeah. I mean, how could you not applaud? And that was them to be 3-2 up. So I was a bit disappointed by them because, like, come on. I mean, as we say, this is literally Premier League heritage we're talking about here.
Yeah, and that was in those days, right? I remember at Filbert Street when Anthony Yeboah, I don't know if you remember him for Leeds United, he had a blinding game against us. And I remember the home fans clapped him off the pitch when he got subbed off. And we even applauded off Matt Letizia once as well at Filbert Street. But I was shocked. Like, the Ipswich fans, they booed him all game, number one. And then number two, they didn't even, like, there was only, there were a few left at the end, but you could count them on one hand. There was about 8 or 9 fans that stayed behind for the presentation. So very poor from the Ipswich fans, I'm afraid. I'm not having a go at Ipswich as a club, but just their fans, you would have thought it was a nice day. They should have stayed behind and just witnessed, one of the greats leaving a club, right? But anyway, look, I'm probably biased because I'm a Leicester fan. Would I stay if, I don't know, like,
no, but you clapped him off, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
Greg,
yeah.
What would you make of that? Do you think that would happen in the US or not, or would you also be
no, they totally leave. The people in the US don't have much loyalty, so they're willing to jump ship if you're willing to give them a discount or something. If you're going to get a free taco if somebody scores a goal or something, they're going to go, I'm for that team now. So no, it doesn't surprise me from people over there doing that, because they're loyal to the team, and there's a rivalry there. For me, if I was there, I would have stayed, just because it's something I don't get to experience very often. So definitely, I would have stayed personally. But I think it was interesting. Only a few people stayed. I was interested. I don't know how much there was interaction with the other players from Ipswich when he left the pitch, but also after the match, I don't think there was very much. Charles is going to talk about the lat, whatever. I didn't see any of that. So But so yeah, the U.S. we're too finicky. Are you kidding me? My favorite team is who's popular today. So I mean, that's the way we are here in the U.S. with no loyalty around here.
Are you stuck with Leicester though? Because I mean, unfortunately, we're out of the Premier League again, and I think maybe let's just talk about the game quickly before I bring on our next guest. But I mean, we did actually move up a position in the table. Van Nistelrooy for Manager of the Month. Maybe I'm getting a bit carried away there, but what did you think of the game? Because I think it's the last couple of times we played Ipswich, we were clearly the better team. Well, maybe not in the first game, but they were probably the better team in this game. But we ended up winning quite comfortably. What did you make of them?
I mean, I think they were better at the beginning. I think we just had our places. Again, our defense actually looked really good. I mean, Thomas was good. Justin was okay, although I finally figured out he's slow. I didn't realize that till yesterday that he's kind of slow. But I mean, otherwise, it was a game of chances, right? So every time they have the opportunity, they took advantage of it. That's what happens a lot of times. Even when you play possession base, you still have to take advantage of your opportunities. And they just did, and they were able to prevent Ipswich from doing it. So, hey, I do have something real quick. I had an argument with Charles yesterday about this. And I just, because we're going to talk about, since you brought up Rude, I had a question for him. I said, don't you think every club has a backup plan? They have a list of backup managers in case something happens to their manager. And he's like, oh, who would be on your list? I don't give a crap who's on the list. You just have a list. You have a group of people, right? Now, I think this is Leicester's list right here. It's blank. I don't think they have an effing clue between Rodgers and when Enzo left and when Cooper left. I don't think they had any clue. So here's my question, you guys. Don't you think every club in the world, starting with City and Madrid and Barcelona, have a list of these are the guys we would target if we need someone really quick or a long-term solution?
Do you know what I think? I think they did have a list, right? But with the PSR issue, they didn't have a realistic target list because the managers we approached at the time, I think they just declined us straight away. So I think we did have a short list, but they weren't talked or they weren't tapped up or spoken to before that. I don't know, Anil. What do you think? I think they do have a list, but it's unrealistic, right? And then we end up with the scraps in the end.
So, spoilers. I'm going to talk about it once the season is over because I think it's the number one issue that we need to fix. But honestly, right now, I think something's up. I think something doesn't smell right, and I don't know what that's going to be. It could be that there's a sale of some kind or some kind of big thing or some bad news about to hit around the corner, but it just feels very, very weird to me. That
with all the talk going on right now with managers, it makes it interesting how nobody's talking about us. Right? Nobody's talking about Leicester. So it makes you wonder, is Rude going to stay or not? And I think that's a possibility. Yeah, I know. So exactly. So with that said, I just kind of felt like, and you're right, Imran, about the PSR thing. I think, but when Rodgers was fired, when Cooper was let go, I don't think they had a plan. And my point being is, why don't you have something in your desk drawer with a list of like 5 names on it? Go, okay, this is where I would start. Now, just to be honest, when Charles asked me who's on your list, I'm like, it doesn't matter who's on the list. And he goes, well, you start with Pep and then work your way down. I'm like, first off, that's not realistic. Okay, it needs to be realistic.
Pep might be out of a job quite soon. Anyway, Greg, if you don't mind, you've kind of summoned him for me already. So I'm going to say farewell to you. Please call in next week. Keep speaking to us over the summer break.
All right, take care.
Yeah, take care, Greg. So we're going to move from one of the Dallas Foxes to the Riyad Mahrez to Craig's Jamie Vardy. I don't know if he's going to like that or not. So let's bring him up. It's Charles. Good evening, good afternoon probably to you where you are right now. How are you doing and how are you feeling about paying respects and saying goodbye to the legend that is Jamie Vardy?
Yeah, great. Good afternoon from Texas. Yeah, it's about 1:00 here. So, yeah, what a great man. What a great man. And I think his legacy will last for years. That 11-11 is, in today's game, untouchable. 11 goals in 11 games. That's what I think will keep his longevity going and going. And also other things as well. I mean, just, one club person at the moment. And he's a great guy. And I hope they do build a statue for him at Seagrave, or maybe at the ground. It probably won't be at the ground, probably at Seagrave, maybe. But it was great. We were at the pub. There were like 4 or 5 of us, and we had a good time. And as Imran said, it was just like we forgot that we were relegated. and it was a good day for everyone. And who could write? Jamie really hasn't been on that much form recently, and he gets his 200th goal in the last game. Nobody can write this stuff. Nobody can write this stuff. Brilliant day. Yeah. Brilliant day.
I've got a question for you guys, Charles as well, right?
Yeah.
What gets you a testimonial nowadays? Because surely Vardy's due a testimonial at Leicester, right? I was thinking about this again while I was walking back. All these thoughts were going through my mind. We have to give him a proper send-off at some point, right? Where he gets to pick his Leicester 11 and maybe a Premier League All-Star 11, and we have a bit of a game at the King Power. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think testimonials are a thing of the past because they didn't earn enough money to make to carry him on. So they, especially with the not so good players, they give them testimonials just to fill the stadium and give them like a pension scheme sort of thing. I think they do have some sort of testimonials, and maybe Gerrard had one, and stuff. What was like that was like a World 11 because he was so well known. But that would be a really good idea. And if he gives the money to charity or something, I'd probably keep it because he doesn't need it probably. But yeah, I mean, that would be a great, I saw all the people at the players turn up. A lot of them did turn up. I guess it was an open invitation to come to the game if you're interested. And a few did, quite a few did turn up. It's nice to see the old faces there. It was really good. Nigel Pearson, I've got a lot of time for Nigel Pearson as well. He's not that well though, I don't think, is he? I don't know whether he's that well, but he's a good guy.
No, I think he's recovering now. Yeah, he wasn't well, but I think he's on the mend.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That's great. Yeah. I'd take him back at a blinking heartbeat just for a season. kick some ass over there.
He helped build Leicester. I mean, I've heard it said from Chris from Leicester Till I Die, and I kind of agree. I actually think Pearson is as the director of football, or maybe some sort of other role in the background, because when he first came in, he helped shape it. He brought in Dave Rennie with the medical department, the scouting team, the analytics, and that was all in place in our best era. I mean, you heard Jamie Vardy even before, in all of these sort of Sky Sports interviews and stuff, saying that like the thing that made him sign is he went round to Nigel Pearson's house, and Nigel Pearson sold him the dream, had like all the data and stuff like that. So that personal touch, I mean, he built character. And I don't know about you, but for me, it was very sad to see. So I don't know if you realise that now that Jamie Vardy has left, that's it. The title winners, there are no more. It's a completely new era, and I'm a bit scared of this new era, to be honest.
Yeah, I think Nigel Pearson, you're right. He built those characters, right? Like Wes Morgan, Kasper Schmeichel, Jamie Vardy, Danny Drinkwater was a character. Let's remember that, right? I know his career fell off a cliff edge after he left us, but he was really one of the men in there. Danny Simpson, Christian Fuchs, all big characters. We don't have any of them at the moment, apart from Connor Cody, you'd argue, but there's not many of them left, are there?
No. We do need some. We need leaders as well. That's another big gap we got. We need a striker. We need a leader in there. Proper captain. I don't know who's going to be captain next year. So it's going to be a lot. But yeah, all that trouble was forgotten yesterday, or was it Saturday? Where's yesterday? A great day out and good. I enjoyed it. Craig did mention about comments about Delat. I don't know if you saw that. Did you see Richard Delat? He was. You may have got. Anyway, they were just. Was it after the game? I think, and the people it was saying hello to everybody. And Richard Delat starts pointing at Vardy, and Vardy's going, "What the hell are you talking about?" And he's going like this, and walks off. I don't know whether he was joking or what he was doing, but it looked pretty serious to me.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I'll have to watch that.
They crashed the party. Yeah. It's like I don't know what's going on. But yeah, a lot of people turned up, and as I say, it's nice to see the old faces there, and everybody looked pretty well. So good.
Absolutely. Well, just before you go, Charles, just got this to bring up. This is from your partner in crime. He says, if he's Vardy, Charles is Lookman. I don't know if that's a compliment or a disgrace or whatever.
I don't know what that means.
I did maybe missing in action when he needed, or didn't sign permanently when you should have. We'll have to see. Right.
I did see Lookman was the going value for him was like 50 million now. He was going to leave. One of the big guys were after him or something. But we should hold on to him. Yeah, because he's doing really well wherever he is now. Where is he now? I know he's been in Europe and all that.
Atalanta, and he won African Player of the Year, didn't he?
That's it. Yeah,
he was rumored to go to PSG, but the deal didn't come forward.
Oh, is that
but anyway, Charles, if you don't mind, just because we've got a busy evening today, thank you for calling in. Do stay in touch, and we'll see you next time.
Definitely. See you guys.
All right. Take care.
Well, Imran, it's up to you because we actually have our own substitution that we could make it. It depends if you want to, but look who's arrived on the stage calling in.
There he is.
Hello. You're right.
Yeah, not bad, not bad.
Good. Do you want me to say something?
Yeah, go on.
Let's get your Vardy moments before I substitute off.
What's the question? My favorite Vardy moment?
Yeah.
I'm not going to go with the boring. It's 11. It's heaven. That's boring. Has somebody said that already? If they did,
No.
boo, boring. No. Okay, there we go. I'm going to say 2. My first one was the hat trick against Manchester City in the year after we won the league, because we were terrible that season. And obviously, I remember, Man City rocked up and we absolutely tore them apart. Vardy hat trick.
That last goal just dribbled in when Mendy tried to clear it off the line, if you remember.
100%. And my second favorite, I'm gonna go yesterday. I'm gonna go yesterday because if we always talk about fairy tales, right? In the last 10 years of Leicester City, and I think if Vardy, once he announced he was leaving, if he could have written it to go any way, it would have been that way. He scores the goal, we win the game, he goes over to the away end, giving it all this for one final time. So yeah, and it is our last memory of him, isn't it? It is our last memory of Vardy. So yeah, I'm gonna say that.
All right, it's all right. Thank you, Imran. Hope
No
you're all right
worries,
with your
Imran, mate.
insurance. Yeah, we'll see you next time. All
Cheers,
right, so here we go, Bromans. I'll change your name over as well. But just while I do that, we'll bring him in right away, just because there might be one other person who can create more cinema than Jamie Vardy. Do you know that here that is, Locks?
Oh, let me guess. Say his name and he appears.
Yes.
I believe in. I don't know your surname.
Joe Hendry.
Rossi.
Get it right. All right.
No, I don't know. I was trying to say your name.
Oh, Mike Rossi. Yeah. How you doing? Oh God.
All good. Before somebody accuses, can I just address this? No, I'm not. I've not come to be caller of the week. That would be. Although I am technically ill, I am now eligible for caller of the week because I was in the middle. So there we go. Go on, Ross. Talk to us, mate.
Oh,
the day after the day. I was going to say the day after the night before, but it was in the day after the day before. Obviously,
Yeah.
Jamie Vardy's last game. Talk to us, mate.
Oh well, we'll see. Everyone, we all forgot about the relegation thing just for one day, and it was inevitable. It was a storybook ending. 500th game, 200th goal on the same day, basically the same day, but 13 years apart. Really, and I kind of made. I'm hoping depends how it comes through on here, but same day, 13 years apart.
Yeah, you showed us that before, and fair play to you, Ross. You've been bigging this up for months, and it actually happened.
Ross called it, right? I remember being on a calling show about a month ago, and he said, Vardy's last game, it could be Ipswich, and I was like, why on earth would it be Ipswich? Well, you were right. You were right.
I'm always right. Come on. No, but
sometimes you left. Go on.
Well, to be very funny. No, do you know what? It was a great day all round. Obviously, it was. It felt like we've already survived and we have nothing to play for. But let's be honest, if we'd have still been battling for relegation, his last game wouldn't have been yesterday. Let's get that right for a start. Couple of things as well I want to point out. I don't know if you've seen this. You probably have. Locks have seen this on Twitter. Anyone recognise this? That little ball boy there?
Yep.
That's Casey McAteer.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Almost 10 years ago, he was calling for a penalty, and obviously he ends up. Do you know what? I'm so proud of McAteer scoring yesterday. It was his first goal in the Premier League. He's been at our club since he was a kid. That's a great way, to score. I'm glad Vardy scored. Obviously, we all are, but I'm so glad it's better. So,
Ross, when every week when
Yeah.
you do these green screens, I just have nightmares that one day you're accidentally going to bring up like a nude photo or something of yourself.
No, absolutely not. I tell you what I did meet yesterday, though. The one that's got a really nice tan on him.
Oh,
Mr. Danny Drinkwater.
Drinky looks amazing, don't you
He
think?
got a good reception yesterday. And
Yeah.
do you know what? I'm glad he did. Everyone's like, oh, this, and that. He knows he regretted leaving us. We all have regrets in life. I think deep down he knows he regrets leaving us. He actually got a good reception yesterday, to be fair, in the fan zone as well. End of the day, and I have got a little fact for you before I go. I'm actually going to cinema tonight. It's ironic when you said cinema. I actually am going tonight. I'm watching The Final Destination.
Oh, really? Okay. Nice. Nice. Let me read this out to you, Ross, because
sorry, my nephew.
Sorry, Ross. I was just going to say, literally in the last 15 minutes, Johan Beneluan has put a post out on Instagram. So let me read this to you. This is what Johan Beneluan's posted. He said, yesterday at the stadium, a flood of beautiful memories came rushing back. Moments like these remind us where we've been, how far we've come, and what truly matters. Thank you for the warm welcome from the club, the fans, the staff, and the players. It was a true blessing to stand together and celebrate this moment for our legend, Jamie Vardy. As Denzel Washington once said, dreams without goals are just dreams. But here at this club, in this stadium, we've seen dreams turn into goals and goals into legacy. This club is more than football. It's a family, a place where faith meets hard work, where love meets passion, and where belief becomes something real. Together, we wrote history, and even if this season brings a new challenge, I have no doubt the club will rise again. Look at that from Johan Beneluan.
Wow.
Crazy. Brilliant.
Do you know what? Fair play to Beneluan. And do you know what? Fair play to the club yesterday. Because, in the programme, where it comes up with send your messages.
Yeah.
They put my son in it.
No. You've got more green screens. You've got so many green screens tonight, haven't you? Bloody hell.
So, I would say, but if you can't read the message, I'll read it. 18th of May, 2012, you came to Leicester, a 25-year-old. 18th of May, 2025, you leave Leicester a GOAT and also winning the Premier League medal, FA Cup medal, and a Premier League Golden Boot. We will never forget the name Jamie Vardy, from grassroots to immortality. Thank you, JV9. Rossi LCFC 1993 and Charlie Fox 2015.
Oh,
do you know what's funny? I didn't even know that until I opened it up, and then I have that woman from East Midlands Today that's interviewing me. So if you go back about an hour ago, I was on East Midlands Today. I didn't even know until someone rang me.
Yeah,
someone's just put it.
There we go. Yeah,
but no.
Nice.
Before I do go as well, because I'm going to shut off in a minute.
We're very busy tonight.
I know. Right. This is something to leave you on. Well, two things. Favorite Vardy moment, Vardy goal, my opinion, is Sheffield United away, only because of that celebration. Being from near Sheffield, I love it. I love absolutely rattling them.
And that was Sheffield away. That was United away.
Sheffield United away.
The corner flag. That was United away as well.
No fans, but obviously the one with the fans in is priceless. I mean, you're a Sheffield Wednesday fan. You stand in front of the Sheffield United Cup like this.
Yeah.
Incredible. And one more thing. Do you know next week when we play Bournemouth?
Yep. Are you with us?
If Jeremy Monger scores, yeah, I am with us. Sorry, my nephew keeps FaceTiming me and I keep rejecting. Swear to God, I'm going to have to work with him. Right, very quickly before my nephew rings me again. If Jeremy Monger scores against Bournemouth on Sunday, he will be the youngest ever Premier League goal scorer ever.
And did you know he's also the youngest Premier League player to play 5 games in a row? Did you know that?
Really? That's pretty impressive, to be honest with you, yeah.
Yep, saw that today.
What you do now?
Youngest player to play 5 in a row.
But now, and another thing as well, Jamie Vardy's only scored 3 goals in the Premier League outside of the box. Obviously, we know Liverpool.
Bournemouth.
We know Bournemouth.
Yeah.
What's the other one?
I
know it.
I'll get it.
I'll give you a clue. Go and see it because there's only 100 odd to pick out. It was in the 2018-19 season.
Was the West Brom goal outside the box?
Nope. In the box. I'll give you another clue, though. It was under Brendan Rodgers' part, so basically towards the end of the season.
Palace?
Nope.
Brighton.
I'll give you a clue. It does start with W, though.
Wolves.
Nope.
Watford. That was easy. You gave it away, but yeah. Right,
But
Ross.
obviously, we'll be
thanks
here
for the
all night.
trivia,
But yeah,
mate.
thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, mate. And at the end of this stream, we'll send people to see BBC West Midlands, wherever it was.
East
I don't know.
Midlands today.
East Midlands today. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, East Midlands. I lose track of where I am sometimes. Right, Ross. Thank you, mate. We'll see you soon.
In a bit.
In a bit, mate. Right, I know Anil's put the order here, so I don't need to work too hard. Okay, up next, get ready, Dimitri. You're in. Get ready. Wait for the camera's gone. There he is, wearing his Leicester shirt. Let's get him. By the way, for the people waiting in the background, Dimitri, Jack, Mark, Zach, Reese, Joe, and I think there was one more. Mark. No, Mark's already in there. Yeah, that's it. Anyway, right, Dimitri next. Here he is. There he is. What's going on, mate?
Evening, everyone. Glad to be here today, finally, after the pause. So,
good to see
you. On the day Vardy announced his departure from Leicester, Locks asked the fans what their favorite memories of him was. So I wanna recall the goal against Atletico Madrid as one I remember the most. Why? Because objectively there were almost no chances against Atletico, and then Vardy hammers the ball into the net. So never in my life have I supported any team in any match as such. I did it for Leicester that night. So if I had the chance to choose a sportsman to meet and talk to, it would be rather Vardy or Ronaldo. So Cristiano Ronaldo. There will be no one like them again, I think, and no one will repeat their achievements. It belongs also to Messi, to Henry and some other players. So there won't be any replacements of these players. So yeah,
I'll tell you what, it's a good shout because Anil, it's not actually, I say it's not every day, it's never that you see a Leicester player score in a quarter-final of a Champions League.
I mean, we might not see that ever again, which is the sad thing to think about. We hope we will, but it feels like a long way back to get to the Champions League, especially with players like that. That is incredible. Shows you as well, doesn't he, what he can do. Started slow, but in the end, even Diego Simeone was impressed with Vardy, and he said, didn't he, that Leicester posed them problems that no other team did because of the direct approach that year. It is amazing. I mean, yeah, we keep saying it, 13 years for this club. The last person to have played for that long time was Steve Walsh, the former captain. But, with all due respect, Steve Walsh, he was a very good player. But I think a forward player who's capable of scoring so many goals, even if we do somehow find someone like that, they'll be off in a couple of years. So incredible that he stayed for so long.
I want to expand this topic saying about the players of the past in general. There are almost no players like Vardy who were born in 80s. So almost all the players except Ronaldo and some others ones just ended their careers. And it's not about the age; it's about the mentality. So how can we compare, for example, Robert Hood and Wout Faes? There are different people from different eras. So why do many people think that football has become a robotic game? Just because there are no more players who grew up without the internet, for whom every match is not about working off a salary, taking photos for Instagram. It's something more. It's a favorite thing to do, passion for the game, complete dedication to the club until the last drop of sweat. So a match is a whole life full of experiences, and not just another Tuesday.
That's really profound, Dimitri. That is really profound to say that. I think you're actually right that maybe the internet is one reason for that, because Kate, who you see on Good Morning Foxes a lot on this show, she always says that there's no characters really in the game anymore. That's something that is kind of sad. Like, I think you will always see very skillful players, but who is going to do what Vardy does? That literally on his last game runs straight up to the away fans and does that, And even, maybe not the Ipswich fans, but a lot of the away fans, they actually like it because it's like a mini game when you see Leicester City players. Like, can you wind up Vardy and get away with it, or will he get one over on you?
And I was going to say as well, you know how you sometimes see a little bit of shithousery from James Maddison, and that's because of Vardy. Like, that is Vardy has robbed off on James Maddison, you know. So they're, you know, I suppose there's going to be some players out there that Jamie Vardy has rubbed off on, and that's why they are little amateur shithouses. But Jamie Vardy is the true professional shithouse. And just going back to mentality and I suppose their life experiences, like you said, Dimitri, this is one thing that we say about Vardy, Anil, that, you know, he worked in a factory until he was like 24 or something. You know, he had a bad back, you know, because of the work he was doing. When he played for Stocksbridge Park Steels, in the evening games, he had to come off at half time because his ankle tag, right, meant that he had to be home on a curfew. So all these things, they have played a part in the player that Vardy became, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, and I fell in love with football precisely because of such players like Vardy. And to be honest, I'm slowly losing interest in football as these legends end their careers. And this season, I've only watched Al Nassr matches because of Ronaldo and Leicester. Alas, time spares no one, but I would rather watch Vardy, Mahrez, or even Okazaki goals for the 10th time rather than watching Haaland or Vinicius Jr. Sorry, but I appreciate, for example, how Vinny Jr. Speeds up, how he just runs through all the defense, but no, I would rather watch the classics. And when I think of classic games, players of the past, I think of good times. There was no war, no COVID. I think lots of people have some great memories when watching as children with their parents all these games. So I wanted to ask, maybe you know about this. I was very happy to see players like Drinkwater and all the others, Dennis Simpson, etc. But why didn't Ranieri, Kante, Mahrez, Hood, and other players? Why hadn't
Ranieri had a game that evening, to be fair, and in fact, it was his last. It was his last home game. Schmeichel didn't come down, which is weird. Someone else can talk about that. But Ranieri actually had to coach a game, so fair enough. And I think, to be fair to Kante and Mahrez, they are still playing in that league and they haven't got it. But you know what? I'll be honest. I was a bit disappointed that they didn't get there. Because, Jeff Schlupp, when Kasper Schmeichel came down from Scotland, I think they did the title parade just the day before. So they probably were absolutely hammered out of their face. They still turned up.
Yeah. I heard today that there was a funny argument as well in the stands, by the way, yesterday about Schmeichel, because apparently when Vardy scored his goal, all the ex-players were jibing Kasper, saying, "You wouldn't have saved that. You wouldn't have saved that." Schmeichel was like, "Yes, I would. I would have saved that." But no, yeah, it was nice, Dimitri, seeing all the former players, because they've, you know, we talk about the 200 goals. Of course, you know, not many strikers would have got to that, but the reason he's got to that number as well is because he's been helped out by some great players over the years. I mean, think of how many he scored from Drinkwater alone. You know, I mean, those balls over the top that Vardy would run onto, and so it was nice to see the faces of old on the pitch as well.
Yeah, and this man also. Yeah, why?
That would have been nice. That would have been nice. 100%.
But again, this
nice
picture, this poster. Yeah, if there is opportunity, I just would like to say thank you to Vardy, to Kante, to Mahrez, to all the people who created this victory in Premiership and Cup, also the Cup in 2021, I guess. Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, they're the two trophies, 2015-16 and 2020-2021 Premier League trophy, FA Cup trophy. It was nice to see the faces that contributed to that.
Also, I've seen one person in the commentaries, and it's hilarious that his comment was deleted almost immediately on the Instagram Fox's channel, and he said something like, oh, Kane has more just trophies than Leicester. But it's just funny because Kane
It's
has
not true.
Kane has just
One.
doesn't have Premier League at least.
Exactly.
He only has one trophy. Yeah, he's only
Yeah.
got the Bundesliga. That's the only one he's got, and it took him 2 years to win that. So yeah, there's that debate always comes up in conversation. Oh, who's the better player? Who's got the better legacy? Jamie Vardy has the better legacy. So yeah, Dimitri, thank you for calling in, mate. Hopefully, next Monday will be the last one of the season, the last call-in show of the season. So hopefully you join us for that one, mate. All right?
Yeah, thank you. Sorry for telling a lot, but I wanted to just share
No.
emotions.
It's all good.
Thank you.
Perfect, mate. We'll see you next week. Cheers, Dimitri. Thank you. Okay, we've just had one extra caller. That's it now, by the way. No more callers. It's Ryan is going to be the last caller. No more cut off. If you call, I'm kicking you out. You can come back next week. Right, up next, we have Jack.
Final
whistle. Here he is. What's going on, mate?
How are we, boys?
All good, mate. All good. So obviously I was with you on Saturday night for the Big Strong Leicester Boys event. Obviously there was a lot of talk about will he, won't he, will he score, won't he score? He did it. He did it, mate.
Yeah, I spoke to Alex Griffin pre-match yesterday, and he said to me, he said, what's the score going to be? Will Vardy score? So Vardy will score, Leicester to win 2-0 yourself. The only Leicester fan that went for 2-0, and someone said, you're having a laugh. Leicester ain't keeping a clean sheet. I said, mate, watch me get this magic ball out, mate. We'll give it a little rub, and there it is. And it happened. He did exactly as I scripted it as yesterday. It happened. He got his goal, and yesterday was sad. It was. I cried a little bit. I did. I'll admit it. I don't care. For what this guy's gave for this football club in the 13 years to witness greatness, it was all worth it in the end.
100%, mate. I mean, I was just saying earlier that if he could have scripted it, well, I suppose if he could have scripted it, he would have scored 6 goals and gone above whoever it is he needs to go above. But I'll tell you what. I'll ask you, Jack. Actually, because I've been talking about it recently. When he went over to the Ipswich fans and he did the shush for one final time, and there were some there that applauded him. They were clapping. And I've seen that's caused actually a little bit of a stir in the Ipswich fan base. Like it would with us. If our fans clapped a player, everyone would be like, you happy clapper, what are you doing clapping? But like they're a bit, so some Ipswich fans are pissed off. But what did you make to that, mate? Because I thought it was class that some Ipswich fans were clapping him.
Do you know what? Respect to them Ipswich fans, for what Jamie Vardy's done in football, not just at Leicester, he's made other players believe they can do what he's done. Jamie Vardy's one of a kind. He's an icon in football. You'll never get another player like Jamie Vardy again. His savageness, the goals he scored, the loyalty he served to the game. And Ipswich fans yesterday were giving him dog's abuse. They'd celebrate every shot he missed. They'd boo him. They'd chant him by his wife. They'd chant Rooney. They'd do everything. And then what does Jamie Vardy do? The story ends the way it should. Jamie Vardy has that last laugh. He gets the goal, and he runs to the Ipswich fans, celebrates, lifts the corner flag up, and just stands there and takes it. And, that's Jamie Vardy to see the one last shithouse moment. And that's the way it needed to end.
And Neil, like this, I really like this comment from Thomas. He says they loved it. Vardy's ours, but to a lesser extent, he's everyone's. And yeah, like I think now that he's not retired and he might be in the Premier League next season, but let's say he wasn't. I think all the Premier League fans can just they can relax, first of all, because they know they're not going to have to play against him again. And I think over time, they will look back and say, you know what an icon. Even the ones that hated him, even Sheffield United, who hates him because he's a Sheffield lad and like Ross said, he did all this. I think everyone in time will look back and say, wow, what a shithouse. What a player, though.
Absolutely. At first, I think if I was on the Ipswich fans and he came up to me, I would actually just start laughing in like a funny way, like respect. Like I wouldn't expect anything less. If anything, you'd be disappointed that he didn't just flip you off for doing that. So you kind of expect it. There are some that dislike him, but I think that you're right. My common perception with Vardy is that people respect it because, like I say, it's like a mini game. So, for example, you look at Wolves. Wolves won the mini game because Vardy missed his penalties. They got one over, but they've been on the receiving end of it plenty of times before. And I think it's all fun and games. And they actually like that. And it's like, it's like having characters, or it's like playing football. You want to see a bit of physicality in the game. So I think that actually, yeah, in some ways, teams will like enjoy not being terrorized by him, but they will miss him because, as we've been saying, it's sort of like, you don't really get too many characters. You have a little bit of Haaland these days, but it's so tame in comparison. It's just not the same. And I think that's actually missing, that sort of interaction between the players on the pitch and the fans that are actually supporting. I think that's something that I don't know about you, but it feels like way too commercialized these days. And Vardy is a throwback to that, where it almost feels like Sunday League in a good sense, right? Where it's personal, right? When you slag off the player, they can hear it, sort of thing, but he'll give it back to you. So they will. I think most people who are true football fans respect what Vardy's done, even if they might dislike him as a person. Because like I say, it's like that's what it should be a case for. And I think a lot of teams actually, they wish they had someone like that, like a proper talisman for the club that he plays for.
And Jack, I think it's because he doesn't discriminate on who he shithouses against. So, like, do you know what I mean? So he'll absolutely rile up Arsenal fans one week, but the following week, Arsenal fans are loving him because he's doing it to Spurs. And the same, Man City, he'll do something to Man City. Next week, they're watching him do it against United, and they're like, yeah, get in there. So the only team he probably discriminates against is Sheffield United, because he's obviously a Sheffield Wednesday. He grew up with them, right? But Leeds fans hate him, as somebody put. Man United fans, no one, when they play against him, nobody likes him, but afterwards they love him.
That's the character he is, and this is what fans love. Like Anil said, they love players like that, who they can play against and give abuse to, and he'll give it them right back. And that's how football should be. You'll see the bad side of it, you'll see the funny side to it. Football's the community game, and it's what you love, it's what you're there to see, your entertainment, and that even when it's a boring game, you'll get a little bit of entertainment of a Jamie Vardy. This is what you'll miss from him the most. You know what I mean? Next season without him, when we do score a goal, it's not going to be him, it's going to be somebody else now, where we've got to find someone very quick now to come and replace him. It's got to be the right man. I know Rude's kind of spoke about it, Annie, that it's going to be a new signing next season, who they're going to bring in as a new number 9. Whoever that is, they've got big shoes to fill for me. But I love Jamie Vardy to bits. I was glad he got that 200th goal yesterday. The 500th game and 13 years anniversary to the day he signed for the football club, just £1 million. And you can't put fairy tales any better than that, can you? To be fair, to go out the way he did, it was the perfect send off.
Is there a world in which Vardy celebrates against Leicester?
I was just about to ask that. Like, what if he ends up at Wrexham?
I said he don't discriminate. I said he don't discriminate. I said he. Yeah. But to be fair, it's like I feel like we'd like it. Like, I feel like if Vardy played against us and scored, we'd want him to, like, you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't think he would, but you know what I'm saying? I think it would just be, maybe if it was a friendly or something, he'd maybe do it as a joke. You know what I mean? Like, go over to the cop and be like that, or like that. That would be funny.
Who remembers Robbie Savage doing that? He did that when he was... Yeah, I couldn't believe he did that against
Birmingham, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, right. Jack, you heard us asking about... I don't know did you give us your favourite moment? I don't know if you did. Give us your favourite moment if you haven't. Go on.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Do you know what? I'll go with 2 for the celebration and his actual goals. Goal-wise, I tell you what, people are going to go on about the Liverpool one that I probably would put first, if I'm honest. Goal-wise, I tell you what, I'm going to go with the Aston Villa one to get it 2-2, where you see Jim Donnelly jump up and down. Yeah, that one. Yeah, well, I'll go with that. Something different to what the others go, because people will go for the 11 and 11, the West Brom goal. I know the West Brom goal is one of my favourites as well, the Great Escape one, when he scored in the 90th minute to win the game, which I'll never forget. Celebration-wise, Jesus. I tell you what, I agree with Ross with the Sheffield United one, where he stands in front of their cop and puts the cup to the ears, because that's just phenomenal. But the one at Crystal Palace where he does the Eagles celebration and absolutely haps them off it's you can just see the reaction, the sticking the V's up and everything. But you know, the celebration when he goes to the corner of the West Brom one, where every time he scores, he'll go to the same corner and he'll stand there cupping his ears and that. And I love it. I love it. And that's what I'm going to miss from him next season at West Brom away.
I think one of my favourites was Bristol City, actually. You know, when last season where he ran literally the whole length of the pitch just to go to the away end.
After he scored the penalty at the Cobb.
Yeah. That was it.
Love it.
That was good. Right, Jack, much appreciated, mate. Thank you so much for calling in, mate. We'll see you very soon. All right. Make sure to everybody subscribe to the Final Whistle. I always feel like going the Final Whistle. Okay. That was funny as well, wasn't it? NL. Oh, Danish friend.
There's too many. They can make a greatest hits of it all.
And I think the one where we won the league and Peter Schmeichel was being interviewed at the club and Casper was speaking to him and he was like, "Is this bring your daddy to work day?" That was class. Have you brought up these videos, by the way, that you uploaded? Have you done any of them?
I have, but we can watch the goal again. It's so good. Or we can watch him being subbed off. But for me, the goal is the one.
Yeah, who have we got next? We've got Mark. Okay, cool. So Mark, give us 30 seconds, mate. We're gonna play this stuff. Did I see the rant in here as well? The Luke rant. Was that you? Oh no, that was me. Never mind. All right, let's get it. Love it. Brilliant. Absolutely love it. Have we decided on the officially endorsed next manager of BTG?
Let's not use that end of season content up just now. We're going to have plenty of that stuff coming up.
And I think it's impossible when we've to endorse one as a channel when we've got Manny, Kate and Imran all, you know, on here. It's pretty impossible to get them to agree on a manager. Trust me. So you should see our group chat. Anyway, Mark is in, I believe. Yeah, here he is. He's got his camera on. Let's get him in. What's going on, Mark?
Hey, boys. How's it going?
All good, mate. All good. You know what? I'm going to open up with something similar to what I opened up with Jack here, mate. I mean, me and you were talking on Friday evening, I think, and, you know, we were saying, oh, what if Vardy doesn't get the 200? Does he play against Bournemouth? Well, we don't need to worry about him, Mark, because he did it. He did it.
It's all irrelevant now, right?
Exactly. What a day it was, mate.
What a day. It was all set up, wasn't it? I mean, it's easy to say now, but yeah, it was written in the stars. It would have been just not that icing on the cake if he'd have finished on, 199. It would be like unfinished business. So it's aesthetically pleasing to see that 200. And fair play, I think he owes JJ a few beers. I mean, that run for him to set that up, geez. Where did that come from?
No, you're right, mate, because, and I said this to the guys on the watch long. I was like, you know how selfless Vardy is, 99.9% of the time. I don't know, the first chance he had, he should have squared that to McAteer. You know what I mean? Well, he shouldn't have because he needed the goal. But you know what I'm saying? Any other occasion, he should have squared that, and I think he would have. But he didn't. He went for it, and you could tell he's very emotionless, as we know, and he kind of plays down all the stats and all the records. But you could tell he fucking wanted that.
Oh yeah, the relief, just in the stadium itself, right? It's like, okay, that's pretty much what we came here for today, right? Anything else now, it doesn't really matter. But I have to say, I mean, I don't want to sidebar the topic of the show too much because we've heard all the superlatives of Vardy. But that game, it was, Ipswich probably the chance that they had if Hutchinson had his shooting boots on. I mean.
The crowd hit the post as well, right? Leaf Davis didn't hit the post.
So, the first 10 minutes, the crowd were up, obviously. It was an occasion. And then there was a real lull in the game, business as usual, right? It's just like, so many passes back. And, the crowd were. So once Vardy scored, it kind of, the owners were probably relieved, And I have to also say, and this is me being cynical, but I think they were very smart in inviting all of those ex-players back, because that lap of honour at the end, that would have been a lot different. And that
imagine if you lost the game and you didn't get it, what would have happened? That would have been,
So maybe one of the very few in recent times that they've got a decision right on. But it was,
you could say Vardy bailed them out again, as he has been doing for 13 years. Yeah, but what did you think of the game, though, Mark? Because I totally agree with you. I was getting very fearful. It felt like the game was petering out quite early. And I think what surprised me is we started quite slow. Like, I think against Southampton, we played the game pretty well. Even though both teams were poor, it looked like we were up for it. But like early doors, like Ndidi and Samari didn't seem on it. It seemed like we were hungover before we even began. And I think it sort of really got kicked into life for us with that first chance that Vardy missed, the one that Locks is talking about there. But after that happened, I was like, oh, hello. And then, of course, the magic happened. But yeah, I have to say, I feared the worst, actually, as the game started.
Until he scored, it was like the shackles were released a little bit. The pressure was, you're right. It was just so, again, turgid and, tip-tapping around the back three into some more of them back. There was one point, it was like around 49 minutes. And Elkanous was facing his own goal, back to goal. There wasn't a player behind him within 10 yards. I mean, as the old saying, time, turn, or whatever, he passed it straight back. You could have just heard the groans from the crowd, and that's not at him, but it just so many back passes. I'm like, But and a shout out to Monger as well. The time he got on the pitch, I'm like, again, similar to what our last few chats, Locks, what we're saying, every time he gets the ball, that's what you want, right? You want, okay, what we're going to see now, something's going to happen. He's going to take his man on. We have so few players that will take a man on. But it's so nice to watch.
I want to take this conversation, I'll say south, right? Because we're not going to get into it too much because, like listing off loads of names and stuff, because that's for the week after the season's done. But Mark, what's your opinion now on the manager situation? Has it changed at all?
No. Like we said last week, Locks, when we were chatting, we were both saying, weren't we, like, oh, if we're going to beat Ipswich now after the games that have just passed, is that I've no doubt that it will change the minds of some people more along the lines of, well, maybe we should give him a chance. But just with everything that's gone on, I think for me that ship sailed. That doesn't mean I still think he's could likely be here next season, but that's not what I want. And I think I just don't see a plan why the conversation's not being taken place, unless they already have. And like I say, they just want to wait till that last game after Bournemouth. But then he'll come out and say something like, I think he was saying, there's so many pieces to the puzzle that if he, that in terms of players going, who they're going to need replacements for, and then for him that should have been done some time ago. So those kind of comments, that would be weird for him to make those if he. If he knew what his position was going to be at the end of the season, and, I don't know. It's really strange. Like Anil said earlier, maybe there's something bigger afoot that's going to be announced.
Well, that is. I mean, Anil, where's your mind at now? Are you still rude out to get him gone ASAP?
Oh, of course. I mean,
I'm warming us up here, by the way. I'm warming us up for when Reese comes on, because me and him are having it. I'm telling you, we're having it out. We're having it out, me and Reese. No, go on, Anil.
I mean, look, if he is in charge next season, I will still probably start with a little bit of a mini clean slate. But I just think all managers, no matter who you are, you're going to get a sticky patch at some point. Even the very greatest managers have a sticky patch. Pep Guardiola is going through one at the moment with Man City. And I just think it will happen with Ruud. And when it does, it's going to be even more toxic because he hasn't got any credit in the bank. And, my fear is that we start next season on a lull. It's very possible, especially with our talisman now left. And I think the last time round that we were in the doldrums, Maresca, to give him a lot of credit, we started like a house on fire, didn't we? We had like 4 wins out of 5, then we won the 10 in a row. So, it just put everything to bed right away. And if it's not guaranteed that lightning will strike twice in that way. And I fear for it. So that's it. But I mean, Mr. Fatal is bringing it up. I don't know if I'd say sold, but I mean, I do think that there's something weird happening at the club, because I think it doesn't make sense to me that they wouldn't say one way or another. Just to say,
sorry.
Go on, what you love?
Mate, this comment just made me choke on my drink. What do you mean? I hope he's going to be waiting along for Rude. I don't think if Top's waiting for someone to come in for Rude, I think he's going to be waiting a long bloody time. Sorry, that made me laugh. You could be right in there, because there were rumours a couple of weeks ago from the big, strong Leicester boys who have, the connections to media, that there was some kind of meeting between Top and I think it was another Thai businessman or something like that. So, yeah, maybe so. I mean, something needs to give, Mark. Something needs to change. I think, my whole concern, Mark, even though I want the manager to be changed, obviously, my whole concern is that, they change the manager, they bring a few players, and then they just they hope everybody forgets, about what happened this season, when they won't.
No, that's the thing. And like Anil said, he doesn't have credit in the bank. So that's my concern. And again, even if they do change him, any appointment is a risk, right? But the problem is, like you say, you go through pre-season with him, he will have to be given some funds to do something in the market, right? Purely because of what's happening with the squad. But if he brings in his own players, we get off to a bad start, and then what? Even after 2 or 3 games, the crowd are going to be on his back. It's going to be toxic, and then you're back to square one. New manager, playing with, trying to play with another manager's players. Yeah, it's just, I don't know.
I don't know where we go from here, Mark. But luckily, BTG, have no fear, BTG are here, because it's next week. It's mad to think next week the season's done, this weekend. So next week we will be here, and Mark will be on. I'm sure Mark will be on with us once or twice, but we'll be talking about it all. What comes next? What do we do? How do we sort this mess out? We'll try and suggest ideas that clearly Top and Rodkin haven't thought of, because they would have done them. They would have,
We'll all be waiting for your emergency stream to announce a new manager.
I think there'll be a few over the summer. That's my prediction.
Got a feeling. You think?
Yeah.
Yeah, when Bilal El Khanous gets sold for 2.5 million, there'll be an emergency stream. Yeah, 100%. Hey, you wouldn't put it past them. Right, Mark. Thanks, mate. Thanks for calling as always,
cheers,
mate.
Guys.
Much appreciated. We'll see you very, 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 very soon, mate. All right. Cheers.
See you, boys.
Take care. Bye-bye. Okay. A couple of quick comments. We won't sack Rude. He will either get poached. Not likely. No, it's not likely. It's not happening. He's not getting poached.
Yeah, no one's paying a release clause for him.
Not a chance. Or he will walk away. I don't think he's going to walk either, Anil. Because, how we kept saying earlier in the season, it seemed like he wanted to get sacked. I don't think that's the case anymore. I think he is giving it a go now. He is giving it a go. But I still don't think it's good enough. Do you know what I mean?
The problem is for me, Locks, is that if he is giving it a go, that's even more worrying in some ways. But I mean, let's talk about it with, I'm sure, our next guest, because
100%. Yeah. Well, we're nearly there with Reese. Not quite yet. Not quite yet.
Yeah.
Let's get in. I think it's Zach. Let me just double check. It is Zach. Zach is next. Let's get him in. Here he is. What's going on, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you, mate?
Very, very good, mate. What do you want to talk about tonight, mate? Vardy or something else? Des Buckingham?
Yeah, well, no, Des Buckingham, yeah. That ship is sailed now. Yeah, that ship is sailed.
Yeah, absolutely. Go on, what do you want to talk about? Vardy?
Yeah, Vardy is obviously, you feel nothing about the Leicester. Your attachment was Leicester is all about Vardy. His greatness or what he achieved with the Leicester. From the Fleetwood Town to the going to Champions League quarterfinal to the winning the Premier League and winning FA Cup and go for the European competition, Europa League and UEFA Conference League final against playing Roma. All the memories, he was there.
Yeah, it almost feels, Zach, like we've achieved. We've completed football. He's completed football. We've completed football.
Yeah,
and there's just nothing better. Like it can't get any better. It's we've had our peak. That's it. It's all downhill from
and
there.
he was the reason because we are pick, because he performed really well consistently. I never seen any player outside top 6 striker who consistently perform double digits goals in Premier League, and he has done it. I never seen any
100%.
striker there.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it, Anil? It's a consistency. Like I think someone please do the maths and do the research and find out. But like, I think is it only what 2 seasons that he hasn't hit 10 goals? Something crazy like that, which was this year and the other year we were relegated.
Yeah,
to do it for a team as well.
But yeah, we got relegated.
Yeah, go on,
Zach.
Yeah.
Someone go.
I'll go. Well, look, I think it's incredible because also these type of players, normally you have one good season and you get swiped by a team above you in the league. That's usually what happened. So to continue doing it for so long is incredible. And also, like, he came into the Premier League so late at 27. So it's crazy. Would you have thought I coming in at 27, he'd have played at the top level for another 10 years and bag all those goals? It's truly bonkers. And do you remember when Claudio says his career starts now? Claudio knew what he was talking about there. He said to him, if you keep look after yourself, you actually could play at this level for a lot longer than you think you could. And he did. So unbelievable. I don't think you'll see any. I think, again, you won't see many professional players go until that long scoring that many goals. So, yeah, I mean, we've run out of superlatives, but it's all fully deserved.
I mean, we were talking about it today on Radio Leicester, little plug there. but no, Matt Piper was saying that Claude Puel, look, whatever you think about him, as a manager or whatever, he got a lot of things right. With, let's say, recruitment, for example, we got brought the likes of Ricardo Pereira and James Maddison. And, if Nigel Pearson built the foundations for the title win, Claude Puel built the foundations for what came after that, the FA Cup and the Champions League runs. Yeah, exactly. Puel built the foundations there, in my opinion. And but one thing he got very wrong, Zach, was Jamie Vardy. He didn't get the best out of him. And I think Claude thought, this guy's done. He's finished. We need to move past this guy. And he got that very wrong. And he went and played another 6 or 7 years at the top after that.
Yeah, after Claude Puel got sacked, then Brendan came and Brendan make him even better in goal scoring output.
100%.
I
was going to say, Neil, he turned Vardy. Vardy was never just a pace merchant. That's disrespectful. But I'm saying Brendan changed the game with Jamie Vardy.
Well, he did amazing. I think he doesn't get enough respect for that because you're right. Like Claude Puel was trying to also get him to be a bit more of a false nine, but his football was very slow and pedestrian. I think what really helped Vardy is then he had like Maddison and Tielemans bombing on, plus the attacking wide play. So all of a sudden it meant that he got more space because he had more problems to worry for. I think Claude Puel was too safety first. But there's more than that. I mean, I don't know if you remember, but when Vardy first started playing for Leicester, he also had a lot of games where he was playing more on the wing than he did as an actual striker. Or even in our first season up, we'd have like a Joa up top and he might be like drifting around on the sides to use his pace. So he's shown that he can reinvent himself. But I think full respect to him as well because he showed that he's, more than a one-trick pony and very impressively adapted his game. And just truly incredible from the man.
Yeah, in Enzo Maresca time, he also come down deep and engage with the player and, making triangles. He improved on that aspect as well.
Yeah, 100%. Right, before we let you go, Zach, go on. Give us your one favourite moment, Vardy moment.
There's lots of every moment is a favorite moment, to be honest. But if you want to pick favorite goal for me, to be honest, is again Man City backhill goal.
Man City. Oh yeah, the flick.
Yeah, backhill goal. Yeah,
like he did against. It was like carbon copy of the Germany one, right? Because he scored against Germany for England. It was just like that. So yeah, nice one. All right, Zach.
Yeah.
Thank you, mate. We'll see you very soon in the summer to talk about managers. Right? I want to hear this.
Manager. I want to say one more thing about manager.
Last
to be
thing,
honest,
go on.
Yeah, yeah. If our shortlist is consists of Martin, Russell, and Dice, I rather have keep Root. To be honest, I don't want both of them for the championship. If we are in a relegation fight, then Dice is okay, but no in championship.
Okay. Right, Zach. Thanks, mate. We'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Cheers, mate.
See you soon.
Okay. Prepare yourself. Here we go. Sorry, I just need to limber myself up for this. Yeah. It's like our season. Look at that. Right. Here we go. Here he is. It's Mr. Rude In. What is going through that mind of yours?
How we doing, lads? You all right?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, welcome, by the way. Welcome.
Brilliant. No, obviously I came on the show after a long break. I've been moving flat and stuff, so I haven't been active as much. So I came on with Anil and it was Imran, was it? And I was saying that there's a few reasons why I want Rude In. Now, obviously, at the start of it, I didn't want him because obviously, I didn't think he was good enough. I think Carlos Corberán was the man, and look at what he's doing with Valencia. But as time's gone on, there's been a few like games where I can see what he's trying to do, and I have to reiterate it. He's not been backed. He's been given Steve Cooper's heap of crap. So Top brought him in to say, right, I want you to play this certain style of football. Blah, blah, blah. But how can he do it when you've got Jordan Ayew and Bobby De Cordova-Reid and everyone's like, oh, why doesn't he change it up? He can't change it up because the players are not that good at all. And I think giving the tools and giving his own team, I think he could do something with us. Because I've always said to my Uncle Carl, I don't think he's Premier League ready. But I think if he comes down to the Championship, learns his craft a bit, he can become a Premier League manager. So that's why I'm happy to keep him. That's my view on it.
Okay. No, I mean, you make some valid points, which I do agree with on the what you said about he wasn't backed. Although he was given at least he was given a £3 million fullback, and he's not used him. Remember that he's not used him. He continued to play a combined front three with a combined age of 102. For weeks and weeks, despite not scoring a goal in weeks and weeks. And he somehow made Steve Cooper look like a good, competent football manager. I mean, that's where I'm at with it, Anil. And I'll say it again, I'm going to sound like a broken record, Anil. Yes, he's performing now. He is performing now. We're winning games and we're scoring goals. But when it mattered, they stunk the house out.
Yeah, I mean, I've said this as well, that for me, it's not even like the fact that we've got relegated, because I think to finish so far behind the teams above us just shows you that the squad was poop. But I think there's a way to get relegated. But look, let's maybe play devil's advocate and say something that, like Reese has said, does happen anyway. I mean, we know that King Power's tight in this sort of sense. They might go with it. But then if that is the case, I'd like to see more from Rude. Like, try and sell us as to what the vision is. Like, I feel upset. As you say, there were those games where he started both Bobby Reid and Jordan Ayew. That was just hideous. And he was not playing Mavididi or McAteer at the time. And it's like, that's what I think concerns me the most. I mean, so if he is given the mantle next season, he's got to do something and say, like, come out and say last season wasn't good enough. I wanted to sort of say how frustrated I was, but I couldn't because we were in a difficult position. But now I've got rid of these troublemakers in the squad, and now I'm going to show you what the real Van is. Like, that's what I'd want to see. Like, for me, what I don't like is he comes across as a bit too dour in the interviews. He started off okay, but I just feel that sometimes, like, when someone's got adversity, you see what they're really made of. And the best people, like, look at JV, for example. Jamie Vardy's been dropped from the team a few times. He went through patches of not scoring goals, but he'd always come back stronger, harder. Even look again yesterday, or the goal that he scored in the previous game. So that's what really concerns me about it. I mean, like I said, if he does get it, I do appreciate your points, though, Reese. And, like, for sure, he maybe even took the job and saying, look, I'll come in, but most likely you've got a shower of shit and there's not much I can do about it, right? So are you giving me this job? with what you did with Brendan, where Brendan came in, he had a little bit of bedding in, and it was the next season where you did the rocket ship, right? Because you remember Brendan Rodgers was okay when he first came in, but I think where did we finish? Like 12th or something like that. It wouldn't have like a super finish, but it's when he had the pre-season that he took the club to another level. So maybe there's something like that. But again, comparing the two, when Brendan came in, at least he was sort of steady and he wasn't doing stupid stuff, which is, I think, my big thing against Ruud. But what do you make of that, Reese?
Lads, all I'm going to say is just give me one name. Just give me one name that
Danny
is Danny Roll. Danny Roll. Right. Okay. I mean, he was one of the names that, if Ruud was to go, I would take.
There we go. We did it. We did it.
No, I just think Ruud. I just think Ruud's more proven on a higher level than Danny Roll. We've not seen what Danny Roll is like at the higher end of the table, but that's just my opinion. You're not going to get Will Still. He's going Southampton, and I don't think he'd have come to us anyway.
We could have. I'm telling you, if he's going
Southampton in a much better financial position, much more stable position than what we are. They've finished on profit in terms of financial fair play what they've made them players.
Right. No, you're right. And I was getting into an argument online with a Southampton fan stupidly the other day. I need to stop getting into these arguments online, right? But I don't buy a nil. You know, I'm the biggest critic of the board and the club, right? I'm the biggest critic of them. However, I still refuse to believe Southampton are a better, more attractive outfit than us. I refuse to believe it.
No. I don't think they are, but I think that just implies, though, that they've actually approached him and we haven't. So in that case, they are a more attractive option because they're often willing to offer him the job right away and get him in early doors. So I think the worry is, like, you mentioned earlier that, maybe we'll see something, and the manager has already been appointed. That's not the Leicester way. Leicester are not that good at keeping secrets. Something always comes out. It'll be a Percy bomber, right, if we're interested in the manager. So it's definitely not him. And unfortunately, that's bad because it makes me think that they still actually have not made up their mind, which is even more insane. As I say, I think something smells well off there. We'll come to see it. So, yeah, look, I think most people would still want to have Leicester. Look at the facilities and everything's ready to go. But that is a worry, though, if he does go to Southampton, because I think as of right now, no one's thinking that they'll finish above us. But I think if they make a very good appointment and we don't make a good appointment or keep someone that's starting on a bad patch, I don't know. It worries me already. Put it that way.
Yeah. Well, let's see what some of the comments are saying. Uncle Clibbo has said, given how bad, I feel like Clibbo's my uncle now. Given how bad our board have been, I'd say Southampton are a more attractive option. I'd like to think Will Still was on the list, but we just cannot physically approach him. Well, Southampton have apparently approached him, so apparently, so we keep RVN because we can't think of any. Well, I mean, you've admitted, Reese, right? If there was Danny Roll and RVN on the table now, which are you taking?
Van Nistelrooy.
Wow.
Honestly,
is there no realistic name that you would take over Van Nistelrooy?
Well, honestly, I'm trying to think of. I mean, Sean Dyche. No, thank you. He's a firefighter. Okay. No, come on, lads. He's not the man to rebuild a club. He's a firefighter. You're in a relegation scrap. You appoint Sean Dyche. He's not a man to rebuild a club with loads of young players. He's not got a proven track record of that. What other names are there? I mean, Russell Martin. We battered him 12-4 over 3 games. Like, come on. You don't want Russell Martin. Will Still, I just cannot see why he would come here when he's going to have all the money in the world at Southampton to bring his own players in when we've got potential points deduction and a transfer embargo on already. He ain't going to come here. He's on an island to nothing. Whereas I think Ruud's been at the club for a bit of time now. He knows the youngsters coming through, and I do think he's got a plan in place with his own players, with his own brand of football. It's like I said before with like you're asking him to play a certain style of football when you've got 2 old wingers. And I think if he could change it, lads, he would. His best winger's out injured for the whole season in Abdul Fatawu. With Mavadidi, I'm not sure what it is why he's not playing him. I don't understand that that way. But I think he liked
at the moment, to be fair. But he didn't. He waited like 8 games to play him, and I just feel like he gave other players a longer run for no apparent reason. Like he persisted with that crap house 3-4-3 with Patson Daka as an attacking 10. Like, what was all that about? Like, after it was okay in the first game, but literally after the third game, it needed to go in the bin. So
I honestly think, and I honestly, sorry to interrupt you, mate. I honestly think as time's gone on, I honestly think as time's gone on, he's realised how big the job is. I think when he got appointed, I think they've got Premier League players, they've been proven, and it shouldn't be too well. But I think he's realising how tough the job is now. But I think he's more than capable of doing it. I think if he gets us top 6 with a decent squad in terms of young, prolific players that are pacey, direct, like the players that Manny describes, with a little bit of experience in there, the likes of Connor Cody and stuff like that, I think he could do something. I think it would be a mistake to get rid of him. I think it could.
Well. We have a lot of time to talk about it, Reese. We'll get you on again, mate.
Yes.
I mean, knowing Leicester, we won't know for months.
No, we won't know.
Week, should I say? Probably the 30th of June. That would be tragic. If they're going to keep him, tell us now. Just tell us. Just tell us now.
Yeah.
I don't want.
I agree with
that.
Tell us. I agree.
Just tell us now. But maybe they are sounding out options. Anyway, right, Reese. Thank you, mate. Thank you.
Pleasure, lads. See you soon.
We'll see you again soon. Okay, Gary Lineker's looking for a new. He is. Yeah, I'm just ready. He's completely gone. Jurgen Klopp. Jesus Christ. Right. Okay. Next caller is Joe. Here he is. What's going on, Joe? How are you, mate?
You all right, guys? How's it going? How's it going?
All good, mate. All good.
But I was going to come on and sort of sing Vardy's praises and do all that, but I've got to just go into what I've just heard with Reece. I mean, has he not watched us all season, man? I mean, the guy didn't change our lineup for about 12 games, and he had other options. I'm sorry, the guy's a novice.
I'm claiming this one, by the way. That's 4-1 locks. I'm claiming
the guy's a novice. I understand. I don't get me wrong. I understand some of his points. There were some points that he was making that I was kind of like, yeah, no, I can see. But
he's not been backed. He's right. He's not been backed.
No, he hasn't. He hasn't been backed. Of course, he hasn't, because the club's in a financial mess. My issue is can we get rid of him? That is the one thing for me. And you said it a couple of days ago, Locks, when you were like, that's the only reason I can see we're sort of keeping him. But I just no. If we've got other options out there, Danny Roll, for example, I would snap your hand off to get in. With the squad that we potentially could have. Thing is, I was having this conversation. It'd be interesting to know your guys' thoughts, and I'd kind of want to pose a question to you guys. The problem we've got at the moment is we have actually no idea what our squad is going to look like. So we can all speculate, we can all sit there, and we can all say we could potentially get top 6. We could do this. We have no idea what our squad's going to look like. El Khanous could be going. Hermansen could be going. There's other players that could be going. We're not going to know until our first game of the season, and we've had a bit of a transfer window. Whether the transfer embargo is going to come in, we don't know. So it's all speculation at this point. And I just kind of want to get your guys' opinion on that statement rather than question. I mean, there isn't really much. I mean, I know as a channel, it's your guys' job to speculate, but there's not really a lot we can say, because we don't know what the squad's going to look like at all.
Yeah. Go on, Anil. I'll let you take it, because, he's right. Joe's right. We've got no bloody idea who's going to be here in August.
Problem is, I sometimes think neither did the club, which is even more worrying. I will say that as of right now, at least Van Nistelrooy is the one who seems to have presented a plan of some kind. So his plan seems to be, I'm going to rebuild around the youth. These are going to be my crown jewels, and I'm going to build a team around them. But the problem for me is I can't really believe that, because I just don't think he's given those players enough time. And, I remember, there was that one time or more than one time, that after getting relegated, we still didn't really play these players. He still hasn't started Jerry Wonga. Jake Evans as well, again, only really got 10 minutes at in that game for Vardy. I think if he was serious about that, he'd really be playing them hard now, sort of thing. We shall see. So that worries me. But you are totally right, though, to say this, Joe, that's exactly what happens. I mean, if you ever watch Benjamin Bloom, he does a really good championship podcast.
Yeah.
He said,
"What the more time he's got great content."
Well, what typically happens is when a team gets relegated, their team at the end of the season compared to their lineup at the start of the next is completely different. And we already saw it once ourselves. The team that lined up, no Tillemans, no Maddison, no Harvey Barnes. In comes all these new players like Manson, Callum Doyle wasn't he playing, and Mavadidi. So it will be very different, I'm sure. So we can't really speculate until we get there. But I mean, for Christ's sake, we know we've been relegated for like 6 weeks now. We could have had a plan in place as to who the manager is, what our number one signings are. And that for me is a bit panic stations.
Yeah, the club don't. The club have never been proactive. They've been reactive rather than proactive. You know, and that's the thing. But they have done for a number of years. They kind of just think, oh, we'll just lay in this bucket of crap and hopefully come up smelling of roses. It's been the way since we got relegated and we were sort of veering towards relegation. You know, and that's the problem as fans. And the frustration is, and I know you mention it, you've all mentioned it a lot on this channel, with the fact that there is no message from the board to the fans. We don't know what's going on, and that's increasingly more frustrated. Go on, sorry.
What you said earlier, Joe, that about us that's why we speculate, because we ain't got a bloody clue. We ain't got a Scooby-Doo.
We don't know, do we? Exactly, we don't. And it's frustrating as fans. Even if they were to release a statement, just one sentence saying we are in the shit. No, genuinely, right? If they were to do that, right, you would at least say, well, at least now we know where we stand. You know what I mean? At the moment, we're all kind of running around like headless chickens, not knowing what's going on. You know what I mean?
That would have been the perfect timing, Neil, for that AI image you used to have of Rude with his head sticking out a pile of shit.
But it's just frustrating, isn't it? It is.
Yeah. Incredibly frustrating, mate. Yeah. Massively.
Just before I do go, just on the Vardy moments, because I did want to speak about him. Obviously, it was the weekend. One particular moment, not even a goal. It's more of a celebration. It's in the COVID when he went over. He scored. Chris Wilder had his head in his hands and he absolutely smashes the corner flag to smithereens. I will always remember that as a favourite moment. Just absolutely smashing it up.
100%. I love that. I absolutely loved that. Yeah, no fans in the crowd, so he thought, "Oh, I can't give the fans shit, so I'll give the groundsman some shit, clearing this mess up after the game." So I think I want to say he got fined for that as well. I'm pretty sure he got fined for that. Someone will have to correct me, but yeah.
I mean, the problem is as well is I posted it on one of my social medias after the game, and I've got a few friends that are part of the LGBT community.
Oh yes, I remember that.
And of course, they were giving me some rubbish about it, and I was like, "No, that's not the point." It just
what he did
on the day.
Joe, what he did was he signed it and he gave the flag to the Fox's Pride. So that was
no, for sure. But yeah,
it don't matter what was on that flag, mate. It was getting smashed.
It was getting smashed.
That's it. I think the point I was trying to make to everybody who was in my comments, sort of making their comments, was no, that's Vardy. It doesn't matter what flag it was getting smashed to smithereens.
If it was a flag of his wife's face, he was still absolutely destroying that. So there we go. Right, Joe. Thank you, mate. Thank you for calling. Much appreciated. We'll see you very soon, mate. All the best. Right, we've got two more callers. We've got Ryan and Ethan. I think Manny might come in and say goodbye, but yeah, we got Ryan first. What's going on, Ryan? Something funny? Did I make you laugh?
No, it wasn't that. Don't worry.
What's going on, mate? How are you?
How are you guys doing?
Good, mate. Good. The GOAT scored his goal. We're all happy.
Yeah, I think this is a rare occasion where we've all come out after a game and we've been so delighted. I think it's been very rare this season, hasn't it?
Yes, yeah. I feel like I have to keep pinching myself and say, actually, no, remember, you idiot, we're relegated. Don't be happy.
I know. But this is just the one-off thing, isn't it? That we all remember. And this, thank you for so much, Jamie Vardy, for every single bit that you've done for this football club.
Sorry,
you,
mate.
Owen.
By the way, I need to bring you up. Do it again because it looked like you were saying thank you to VAR there. So I'll. There we go.
Yes, that's true.
There we go. Perfect.
Clip
Yeah.
that, and the next time, you know, when we replay that FA Cup final where Chilwell thought he scored, you can just have Ryan turning up with a thank you VAR. That can be amazing.
Thank you, Vard. Thank you, Vard. Yeah, what's your favourite moment then, mate? Everyone's been talking about their favourite moments. What's yours?
In relation to Jamie Vardy, I have to say I think my favourite goal that I've seen him score will always be the one against Liverpool in 2016 title winning year. And the reason why is because it happened right in the end where I was, right in the very corner, and he celebrated right in front of me where I sat. And it was just an unbelievable feeling, and how he scored it. It's just one of the most memorable moments I ever witnessed. So that's my favourite Jamie Vardy moment.
I mean, that's not a bad shout, is it, Anil, that goal? Because, yeah, I mean, what an absolute screamer. Obviously, people knew that season how good Vardy was and the goals he was scoring, but I don't think many thought he could rocket one in from 30 yards out like that.
I don't think he could, which is even
true.
his reaction was pretty good. The way he sort of did that little, walk up.
Yeah,
to the
he was
flag.
going like this. Oh my God, like that. He was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
how the hell did I score that?
What made that goal special, I think, was the crowd reaction, though, because that was one of those things that you just kept believing. You were like, what is going on here? Right? Like when that's happening, maybe this really is going to happen. And obviously that week was the key week because we played Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal, got 6 out of 9. And, and in fact, even the loss, we were pretty unlucky to lose that. Didn't deserve to. So, yeah, it was absolutely brilliant. That was a good moment. Do you know one that no one's talked about, though, just quickly? What do you remember at Man City, though, when we were 3-0 up and he missed the chance? He just went to the Man City fans, the 3-0. People forget about that. He did that.
Oh,
that
yes.
week.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. There's too many to pick, man. He's such a absolute legend.
Yeah, there's just so many. It just like he's been here for that long. You just cannot fathom how many more, how much more you can remember. He's just delivered so many great moments, and we just can't thank him enough for what he's done for us. It's amazing, really.
100%. I mean, there's a comment here saying the Liverpool goal because it's incredibly unusual to see such a strike. It's Niam says, I'll miss the goals, of course, but the little things will be missed equally. Policing lost causes, sliding in when there's no reason to, just to get the crowd up. Yeah, because that's one, Ryan, that, even obviously we know he's like determination for scoring goals, but just like getting the crowd up for it because he knew that's what it would do, sliding in on a player, trying to win it.
Do you remember the one where against Manchester United in that Great Escape season where we won 5-3? I think this led to us getting the penalty, I think, where he barged off a Manchester United defender off the ball and he allowed him to foul Vardy afterwards, and we got the penalty. It was like, get off. That just summed up Vardy in the
Man United, you mean? Man United.
Yes, it was. That was
the 5-3. The 5-3.
5-3, yeah.
Yeah, Raphael it was, wasn't it? Raphael.
That was hilarious there now.
Yeah, it was like saying, get off, that's mine, mate.
Yeah, and I think, was it Nugent took that one, didn't he?
Nugent
scored,
took
I
and
believe.
scored that one.
And then, so, mate, there's so many moments. What go on, I know you've been listening patiently. What's your take on Mr. Van Nistelrooy, mate?
Oh, God. Honestly, I can't believe what on earth. No offense to Reece, but
everyone's bashing Reece.
Reece?
Everyone's bashing Reece. Bashing Reece. Sorry.
Hasn't he been watching most of the games we've been playing? Because I'm struggling to see if he has or not. But this is no offense to him at all. But I just think, even though we have started to get a little bit better lately, but it's just a little bit too little, too late. Really, I'm just not buying into this narrative, thinking, "Oh, it's all better now." It's not. It's too late. I'm just not buying into this narrative to think, "Oh, Ruud's going to be the white man now." No. Get it out of your heads, people. Ruud van Nistelrooy is not going to be here.
I don't know why you're so confident. I think there's a good chance he is. I think there's a good chance he is.
He won't be. I have a massive feeling that he won't be.
£5 bet? £5 bet? Go on, shake me hand virtually. There we go.
There you go. That's video evidence. I can confirm as the neutral. The bet has been wagered.
Yes, absolutely.
Keeper Manny, you love your bets. Get that on record. You've seen it.
So has 230 other people, actually. RVN, tra-la-la-la-la. No, let's not sing that, LCFC Grey. Ashman Dan says, can't keep sacking managers who, worth their salt, would want to come into that. I don't know, you say that, managers keep taking the Man United job and the Watford job, and you know what I mean? So maybe a manager fancy, I don't know. I think I don't know. Planet Earth says we should all dress for a funeral for the first game next season, especially if RVN's here. Definitely.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, he's just not done enough to get the job, Reese. Sorry, Ryan. He's
especially when we've been on the run of not scoring for 9 games in a row at home. Then come on, what more evidence do you need?
But he scored 6. We scored 6 against QPR. Don't forget that.
Yeah, well, come on. Not buying into that narrative.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you completely. I agree with you 100%. Last question for you, mate, is what do you make to the manager that was linked with us today? What's his name, Anil?
PSG.
Oh, yes.
Probably Sajay or something like that.
And I'd had a chat with Marnie about this. I'm pretty sure you might bring him on in a bit. But yeah, I have to say, looking at his playing style, I like it. I think it would suit our philosophy. So would it come to us? That's another debate. But from what I've seen in terms of the outset from his style, I think it fits. And it's a bit similar to what Enzo Maresca brought. So,
does he get the seal of approval?
What the manager we've just been linked with?
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
There we go. We'll see what the other lads think as well. Ryan, thank you, mate. Thanks for jumping in. Much appreciated. We'll see you very soon, mate. All right. Thank you, Ryan. Cheers. All the best. Okay. Right. 2 callers left. Ethan is up next. There he is. What's going on, my friend?
How's it, guys? Yeah, no, what can I say? Vardy, man. What a guy. What a legend. Obviously got his 200th. So happy. I wasn't having the best Sunday. Turn on the Leicester game. Vardy scored. Casey scored. We won. Clean sheet.
Happy days.
Oh, brilliant day. Brilliant day out.
Happy days, mate. Happy day. Yeah. I mean, we keep saying this, right? But like with relegation, we have to celebrate the small wins in life. No, the small wins of the season, and this is one of them. You know, that Vardy got that goal.
I thought he wasn't gonna get it like in the first half. I thought the game would only come alive in the second half. So especially after that first chance he missed, it was looking like it was going to be one of those games. But now, really happy for him. I think JJ, he deserves his flowers. He played a really good game. Casey, I never knew Casey could strike the ball like that. You know, he might be auditioning for the new number 9 role. That's
I saw somebody say that. You know, somebody online said that, play him as a number 9. I mean, he's played everywhere else, hasn't he? He played right back and 8 and 10 and out wide. Try him up front. Why not?
I think he's got an eye for goal. I think we saw obviously that one shot that hit the post. I thought he was really on it. He was really trying to prove himself to Ruud, maybe even to the John Radkin to keep him around. So I was really impressed with Casey. I think his story as well has been incredible. You saw that whole post with him celebrating the penalty. It's really nice to see, and it's an inspiration for all the youngsters there to really look up to.
You mean this? Scenes, mate.
It was. I had goosebumps. I had goosebumps because I was watching on a stream, right, and I had my notifications on, and I just saw 1-0 Leicester. I was like, oh no, what's gonna happen? Because Ipswich had the ball, and then I saw JJ getting the ball up. I was like, is he gonna shoot? Lays it off to Vardy. Oh, it was a magical moment. It's one of the moments in football that you live to see.
100%.
There was a point we were watching a stream and Locke started going, I think VAR is going to check it. And I think we all collectively just went, fuck off. Don't do this to us, Locks. And luckily they didn't check on.
This is the problem with football, isn't it, these days?
Yeah.
You can't like go absolutely mad in case. I mean, you've been playing a bit of football yourself, Ethan, and I hear you've been repping the blue tinted glasses. Look at that. Look at that. That is sick.
Of course, he would have the most stylish blue tinted specs as well. That's just like
better than ours.
So I played the five-a-side on Thursday. Obviously, it was sort of like a meaningless game for us, right? Because we were pushing for promotion and then we couldn't get it. We sort of bottled it towards the end, but it was still a good game. I got 4 goal assists. It was a good game.
Did you score your 200 for your five-a-side team? And did you get like the ball boy running over to you like that and going nuts with it?
No. I think there's only one guy that scored 200 for my club. It's a recent it's still a new club. Surprisingly, his name is also Manga. So,
oh wow,
I might scout him for you guys. He's really good.
Do it. Yeah, 100%. I was going to say, Ethan, there is one problem though, right? With Vardy now, Vardy having played his final game, and that means that against Bournemouth, it's Daka. Could be Edward, but it's Daka.
I think honestly, Reed should go for the fact that he didn't sub Vardy off for Manga and that he brought Daka on for him. I think that's enough reason for him to go. That Jake Evans 10 seconds, Golding 10 seconds. I don't have any more credit in the bank for him. Like these wins mean nothing. The FA Cup show we were robbed, but I've got no credit for Reed. He can go. I don't care about him.
Who's your number one choice?
I still say the Estoril under 23s. I think he's. I mean, I think
what's his name? Manny can jack off to him tonight.
I think it's Vitor Coolio.
Is he bold? Is he bold? Oh,
no, he's not bold.
Coolio.
I think he's at Chelsea, but he was also Estoril under 23. So they have a really good track record of producing good managers. But yeah, I think Reed has to go. I looked at the guy that we were linked to today. I looked at his face, and he looks even grumpier than Reed. So I think we just need a really young, exciting, someone that looks the opposite of Steve Cooper. So to really, be a face for the club.
100%. Rodkin was on the bench, Anil. He didn't get involved in the on the pitch festivity. I think he probably knew that it would have gone one way only.
How do you feel about the fans?
Yeah, go on, Anil, because Luke, I couldn't believe what I was hearing yesterday. Luke was like, oh, that's disrespectful. Oh, the fans, they shouldn't be singing about Rodkin, during Vardy's big thing. But I've watched it back. I'm convinced that Vardy knew exactly what he was doing. He paused. He wanted the fans
he did.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You look at his eyes. Of course he was. He said, and that he's a politician, isn't he? Vardy, he can do it. Because at first I thought, was he going to say it? Now that really would have been incredible if he would have said it.
Imagine.
But in some ways that's even better the way that he did it, because he said it without saying sort of things. He asked me, but you hear the fans, like, I'm here, I'm the voice of the fans, listen to what the fans are saying, maybe you should listen to them, kind of thing. And then he continued to do it. So he definitely did it deliberately. Interesting hearing the feedback. I get that some people are saying, oh, like, it should be Vardy's special moment, but I think Vardy wanted that message to be loud and clear. What do you think, Ethan?
I mean, the guy that was presenting it, he said, I think you better speak or the chance might go on forever. Maybe he was referring to the Ratkin out chance. Maybe it was the Jamie Vardy's having a party. Who knows? But nah, I was honestly, if there's a time and a place to do it, it's probably there because everyone top is there, the players are there, Radkin is there. So if there's any place and time to voice yourself, it's there because the match is over. The stadium is full, and you're really making yourself known. Maybe not while Vardy is talking on the mic, but I mean, if he wanted to, he would have spoke over it. So
yeah. And he did that thing last season at the parade, Ethan. He did the thing last season where he said he was asked, "Are you signing for another year?" And then he went, "That's on John Rudkin." And then everyone booed and he went, "I knew you'd all boo." So be a little bit of friction there. And remember, in his goodbye video, he thanks Susan Whelan. He thanks Top.
Yeah.
Obviously, Vishal. No mention of Mr. John Rudkin.
Yeah.
Well, I find it interesting, like, because I looked at the club's old YouTube videos, right, like 13, 14 years ago, and Rudkin was really he was talking a lot. If you Google his or you search on YouTube his name, you'll find a lot of interviews. I feel like where did that communication go? If Rudkin really wants to get back on the fan side, I think he should do those sort of interviews, sort of these big momentous occasions. Oh, how is the reaction to the Carabao Cup draw? Yeah, I think we have a chance, whatnot. And things like that, especially talking about the academy and maybe other global sort of events that happen in Leicester's name or involve Leicester. I think it's a really good opportunity for him to sort of get back on the fan side. But, that's up to him. Maybe he doesn't want to talk. Maybe he doesn't feel comfortable anymore. In that case, I think he should be put into another position, get someone more professional in, or just take a step back, put him on gardening leave or something.
100%. Right, Ethan, mate, I'm going to let you go. Thank you for calling. Much appreciated.
Before I go, my favorite moment for Vardy, right? I have two, but the honorable mention would be, when we were playing Chelsea, he was winding up Diego Costa. I think they went forward to forward. I was like, if that's any other player, Diego Costa is punching him, but it was Jamie Vardy, so you can't do that. And then my favorite Vardy moment, the whole reason I started supporting Leicester is when he put Leicester 4-3 up against Man United in that 5-3 game. It was such a momentous occasion, a true underdog story, obviously leading up to the title winning season. It was amazing.
I totally agree. Right, Ethan, thanks, mate. We'll see you very soon, mate. Okay, take care. All the best. Okay. Finally, as we seem to do these days, we're finishing off the stream with "Here Comes the Money." Here he is. What's going on, my friend?
Whoa, I'm looking big. Yeah, good. How you doing? Congratulations to you, Locks, making your BBC Radio When You're Smiling debut with the big guns of Owen and Pipes. So well done. I gave it a listen. I thought you did really well.
Very good fun. Yeah. Pipes is a legend, isn't he?
He is. And
I did say, Manny called me earlier and told me that I had to say I'm not allowed to leave the studio until I get Pipes to agree to come on BTG. And I told him, and he said, yes, I will be on in the summer, 100%. So there we go.
You see, that's the way to do it. See, you've got to be pushy, ruthless. That's what we need.
I also said, Manny, because I told him, Manny told me, that I had this, and I said, Manny absolutely adores you. So there we go. Which is true. We love him. So he probably when he does come on, he's probably going to think, who's this creep I'm about to speak to?
Definitely going to get stalker vibes from me.
Yeah. Go on, Manny, talk to us, mate. I know you were here yesterday for the goal, but he scored it. He did it. 200.
At least something went right this season, huh? It's the day where we wanted the script to go right, before the match was right, after the match was right, and during the match was right. Amazing, what a day. And all the reports came out well. I mean, it was nice to see those few Ipswich fans who hung around as well to appreciate the moment. I'm actually maybe a little bit disappointed that more of them didn't say, this was a piece of history that you're witnessing. Football history. What are you doing? Leaving. But, I mean, then it hits you the sadness afterwards that you're not going to see him in a shirt again. You won't see him giving people shit again. You won't see him putting the ball in the back of the net, which is what he was best at again. But then you start, it's a trip down memory lane. You start going through all the goals and the moments and the stories. You've mentioned so many. I don't want to talk about too many of the ones that you've done before. But, other ones where they weren't winning goals, but vital goals. Scoring against Sevilla late on. We're 2-0 down in that tie. If he doesn't get that goal, we are not going through that tie. In those days, away goals counted. So Drinkwater cross, wasn't it? Drinkwater to Vards, that 2-1 defeat. Claudio Wentz, Shaky takes over. I think did he score in the second leg of that tie as well? I think he did.
No,
I think it was
All Brighton.
All Brighton and
Morgan.
Schmeichel saved the penalty. And
He scored another one, didn't he?
Wes Morgan, I think.
Wes Morgan, yeah.
Off his knee.
That's right.
Yeah.
But so look, scoring in Champions League Champions League knockout rounds. I mean, that's
And he scored
insane.
the quarterfinal as well.
That's just crazy level of football to be scoring at. So I think the beauty of his game is that he's actually, if we've had a couple more seasons of Champions League, you playing against a big team away from home, you've got Jamie Vardy. He is capable of destroying any defence in the world when he was peak Vardy. With that speed, with that intelligence, the timing of the runs, the ability to finish Michael Owen, that one too. Just outstanding player, outstanding character, outstanding person to have around. What a signing for £1 million. Just repeating a lot of things we've always said. But he's that rare commodity that I bet you over the last 10, 13 years, whatever, if you ask the opposite fans, who do you hate? And they'll say Vardy. And then ask them, who do you want in your team? And they'll say Vardy. They would love.
Well, mate, we were saying that earlier. I think now that he's left, I keep saying this because he could still play in the Prem, but on the large part, I think over time more fans will admit to how much they actually like him. Obviously, right? When it's raw and he just scored and shushed your away fans, they're pretty fucking angry. But yeah,
I think it's one of those where you only like him, you only dislike him for 90 minutes when he's playing your team. But in the probably back of your mind, like some of the Ipswich fans yesterday, you want to applaud what he's doing because you'd love to see that in your own shirt. But before the game and after the game, everyone I know, all of my friends, they all totally love Jamie Vardy. They remember all the celebrations, like the underrated celebrations, like the Eagles one. I thought that was just brilliant. The Wolves one where he did the old howl as well. I mean, these are just iconic moments. Even this year, give it to on the shoulder for the Spurs fans again about the Premier Leagues. It's just what you want is that player to have that fire in their belly, fire for the shirt, fire for the team, fire to want to stick up the opposite. It doesn't matter what the reason is that you get the fire, as long as you've got it. And he always brought that fire to the team.
150%. Right, man, I want to ask you this.
Here we go.
I don't want you to go into too much detail because we're going to talk about it over the coming weeks. Somebody asked earlier about managers. I don't know if you heard the little thing with Reece, where Reece was trying to put forward the case of Ruud van Nistelrooy. If I had to put you on the spot now, who are you saying?
I've got 4 or 5 more European names. The thing is, managers are a bit different to players. Like, you could watch 10 videos of a player and you could probably come to a pretty good conclusion about at least his playing side of his game. But managers, you can watch their teams, but you really need an insight into their mind. You need to see whether this person can do a team talk. Can he manage people? That's what you won't tell from watching a video of how he sets up his team. You'll only see a little bit of the story. So I would love to give you, he's the answer, and you're going to roll your eyes where I don't give you, again, always. I'm trying to give you a proper answer. I don't just want to pick a name. But, on the short list would be the chap today, the former Lyon manager. Is it Pierre Sage? I think. I've mentioned Luis Freire from Portugal, Merlin Poulsen from Hamburg, Sebastian Hoeneß from Stuttgart, Will Still, available on a free. Somebody mentioned Xavi. I think you're being ambitious. Francisco Fariola, I think that might be ambitious, but he's come up on our radar before. Big Willie style, I've already mentioned for 6 months. So there's a list of these names. But you have to interview them to see which one of them gives you that feeling of aura about them. And if any of those ones give you a little feeling of aura, then that's probably the one that you should go with.
Goran, I didn't put you on the spot.
I think that's a very good criteria for looking at. I think based off those things, the one that I like the most at the moment is still Danny Roll, because I think, and it is actually the man management aspect. The fact that he came into a team that was down in the dumps on the floor and turned them around. I think the fact that the Wednesday fans love him so much, Sheffield's not that far away from Leicester. It's a shame that our favourite Sheffield figure is no longer with us. But I think that says a lot. I think good command of the English game. Like, for example, say Pierre Sage. Like, I think like working with French academies and youth, that will be very good. But it worries me that the last time we had the Frenchman, look, it just is not to say two Frenchmen are the same. But again, I just feel that Leicester are missing a manager that can connect with the fan base again. Like seeing Pearson there again, that's why Pearson got the cheers, right? I think Enzo did do a good job of that, right? Like winding up the Leeds fans and stuff like that. It meant something. And I think Rude, they were like, in the early stage, I thought maybe he was going to get it. But do you remember that time where he's like, goes, well, it's not for the crowd to question my substitutions. When he said that, I was like, oh, what are you doing here, Rude? It's not a good idea when you got a team in trouble. So, yeah, I think it's very important that we get someone who has got that man management side. And I think that Danny Rowe combined to that, plus the fact he's got results on the pitch, plus he's worked for big teams, plus he's got a fairly nice style of play. I think the only thing that goes against him is that I haven't really seen him working with youth too much. But I mean, Wednesday can't be working with youth. They've got to work with cloggers that they can get for cheap because they've got no budgets. I think that's a bit unfair. He has done the youth setup, but I'm not tied to anyone. I think Manny's right. It comes down to like who's going to be the most impressive one. And just whoever we appoint, if we appoint someone new or whoever, if it's really just, I want to see like excitement, like get us on side. And for me, actually, that first friendly that we'll play in the summer will be important because I said this before, but the first time we turned up against Burton Albion with Enzo Maresca and I saw us inverting a fullback, I was like, whoa, okay. And they were popping it around. And even in that first game, Wilfred Ndidi was playing as a high 8 and people were saying, no, Neil, you're high. What are you talking about? He was just getting forward because it's an easy team. I'm saying he is playing as an attacking midfielder. And sure enough, he was doing it. So I want to see someone like that from game one. Excites me because with Steve Cooper from game one, I was worried. Honestly, you can look back at it, not making it up. We got the receipts. What he was doing was like, you've lost the plot here, mate. You've turned this team from everything they were good at, and you can see the players aren't buying into it.
Go on, Manny, wrap us up.
I was going to say that the Pierre Sage today is interesting. It was a bit of a left field link that we had today. I didn't even realise he got sacked in January, to be honest. But when we did the scouting show in December, I recommended 2 players from Lyon. One of the reasons I picked on Lyon is because, you know, since the days they had Juninho Paulista orchestrating that team, free kick genius, but they've always had a brilliant young fast twitch fibre players. They've had that for 15, 20 years. So because this particular manager was the academy manager as well, so he's worked with Lyon youth kids, they have really good players from 14 to 21 range. You know, exactly the kind of talent that we're looking for. So when I look at
is what you're saying, right?
So when I look at PSO, I hear what you said about Claude Puel, and it was boring as hell. But his signings, all the signings done under his tenure, were a lot of the signings that Brendan then took on to create a really, really good team. So I'm wondering whether this guy, you know, we've spoken about Dyche as being, you know, the temporary manager. I wonder if this is a different style of temporary manager, a guy who can come in to get the right youth team infrastructure in place because he has that experience with them. And he's worked with, you know, the players that I wanted were Malik Fofana and Ernest Nwama, for example. You know, these are brilliant kids, and he's worked with them. And Lyon aren't a terrible team, so I'm curious to see why he would get the sack. But I think for the Championship, that one's a very interesting one to consider too.
Right, Anil, you've been here since the start. Who's caller of the day?
Oh, I can't even remember right now, so
I'll try help you.
I'll give it Reece, even though he brought the conflicts. Yeah. Ross has to get it, to be honest with you. Ross has to get it today. He had about 20 green screens. It's got to be Ross.
I'll just quickly defend Reece because I know he's defending RVN. And what we will say is remember the teams that our recent good results have come against, right? Like we beat a terrible Southampton and beat a terrible Ipswich. Those 2 teams are likely to be 2 of the bigger hitters next season too. That, like in theory, if Rude can beat these teams easily, then the championship should be a cakewalk too. Obviously, it'll be a different team under Rude then, but he's shown enough in those few games to do enough in the championship. That's the theory. That's not my opinion. That's the theory. You want to get a deal over the line? Give me a call.
Let me tell you, Manny. When I was speaking to Pat, he was fully on board with the idea about Pearson as director of football. So there you go. That'd be great.
Only with Nigel is he's had a lot of health problems, and I don't want him to feel the stress. That's a lot of stress that job has.
Absolutely.
I think that manager.
They could be chatting Pearson out in 3 years.
Wow, I mean, do you imagine? Do you want to tarnish that legacy? You don't want to do that.
No, absolutely. Right, we've got to end it there. 2 hours on the clock. Thanks to Anil. Thanks to Imran, of course, as well, from the very start. Thanks to Manny. Thanks to all the callers. Thanks to all the commenters as well. We will be back on Wednesday, 7 p.m. Fox's Den. See you there. Cheers all. Bye-bye.